G7 Finance Meeting, February 2021. These are Ministers meeting discussed on fiscal stimulus, American multilateralism, carbon emission and digital tax, corporation tax, emerging economies. All these are variants we have to discuss. G7 meeting were attended by officials from Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan and the UK, of course US, to discuss the global economic governance, international security and energy policy. Climate revolution is cropping up now. G7 meeting on Friday is a virtual meeting and will be the first since US President Joe Biden was sworn into office on January 20th. The virtual meeting is called only because we need to gear up for the actual gathering in UK in the months to come. So virtual meeting ahead of the official summer G7 gathering 2021, which will be held in UK this year. Now, the Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on Friday stressed the need for further fiscal support to promote lasting economic recovery. You can't just give up now. In a virtual meeting with G7 finance ministers and central bank governors, she emphasized that the time to go big is now. That's a very good point. You keep supporting the businesses, and G7 should be focused on what more we can do to provide support at this time. Ellen told the rest of the G7 not to cut the fiscal support this year. Keep giving the fiscal support. That's what America is going to do. The time to go big is now. The time to go big is now. Roberto, the Italian economy minister, said the withdrawal of policy support is premature, and that's what we have to emphasize across the globe. And Bruno Le Maire, the French finance minister, called for close coordination with the G7 on recovery plans and economic policies. Janet Yellen used the first meeting of the G7 finance ministers as US Treasury Secretary to signal the revival of the American multilateralism in a clear change from Donald Trump's administration. It's an absolute change. She used her first meeting as US Treasury Secretary to signal in total terms this is going to be a change in terms of administration, in terms of policies and the process. And US now recognize it must play a crucial role in global efforts to combat carbon emissions, and they should expect a dramatic increase in US engagement on the issue compared to the Trump years. Carbon emissions and digital tax. Ellen reinforced the US commitment in resolving the digital tax impasse. There's a huge stagnation on this at the OECD, and she was insistent that America, they will focus on it. The agreement had to be worked for everyone's interest. Hosting on the meeting along with the Governor of Bank of England, Andrew Bailey, the Chancellor urged his counterparts to match the UK's ambitions ahead of the COP26 and stressed the importance of working together. That's going to be in Glasgow this year. The importance of working together to support a smooth and effective transition of our economies to net zero. We have to reach zero carbon emission effectively, but it's a long way off. Negotiation over the compromise package designed by the OECD has been stalled for months as the US threatened to impose tariffs on European countries in retaliation for their new digital sales taxes. So Ellen struck to a positive tone. According to several G7 capitals, the US has agreed to a deadline of the summer to make the progress on the issue. And Ellen also offered encouraging words on international efforts to ease the impact on the pandemic on heavily indebted emerging economies. Huge challenge across the globe. The US is reviewing whether to back a plan for the IMF to allocate up to $500 billion in a special drawing rights to its members, a move that has been widely endorsed by the countries but was blocked by Trump administration. It was not giving green signal then. Now, Ellen said G7 should work to address these challenges facing low-income countries. Unless global emerging markets are coming together and support the economic incremental productivity, the world will at large will not be successful. That's our point. So developed economies and developing economies should work together. Carbon issues, again digital tax issue, and revival of the, again, all economic special drawing rights in order to make sure global recovery is sustainable, especially in the current context. That's our focus. It's a good meeting.